My name is Jason, and this is Just Watches. Okay, today we have a watch that was generously lent into the channel for a review by Dufrane. This is a watch brand out of Austin, Texas that draws inspiration from the city. Now, this particular watch is named after Lake Travis and is a colorful dive-style watch with a ton of features that I would love to see become more standard in watches. So before we get to the review, if you're enjoying the content of this channel, I invite you to subscribe, and if you're enjoying the contents of this individual video, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much. So this watch is available on the Dufrane website in 3 colorways for a price of $6.99. However, it's currently on sale for a pre-order price of $5.99. The case is 39mm in diameter. It's 47mm lug to lug, although technically it is about 50mm lug to lug because the end links do extend past the edges of the case. However, the first link is inverted and the bracelet flows really nicely off the case, so the watch does wear more true to that 47mm lug to lug. Now, the entire case and bracelet is treated with what Dufrane calls D-Protect, which is a hardening process that strengthens the steel to 800 Vickers. Now, I'm a huge fan of anti-scratch coatings, and in my experience, they work really well. The case shape is fairly straightforward with nice finishing. It's primarily brushed with a high polished chamfer running along the entire shoulder of the case. The case is quite flat overall, but that shorter lug to lug does make this somewhat of a non-issue. It's also only 12mm thick and it wears sleek and comfortable on the wrist. Finally, this case has a feature I've never seen before. There's actually 2 lug hole positions. So this will help accommodate a variety of straps. For example, sometimes to use a certain strap, you need to use a curved spring bar to add some room between the spring bar and the case, but with these lug holes in 2 positions, the head of the watch is going to be able to accommodate a much wider variety of straps. This is a really clever feature, and I think more watches should use it. The watch comes with a strap and bracelet, but let's start with the bracelet. First off, it is a quick release bracelet, which Dufrane calls D-Change, so you can remove the bracelet in a matter of seconds, and putting it back on is just as easy. This is something I would like to see become standard across all watch bracelets, because it makes switching out straps so quick and painless, and then it really encourages you to try out the watch on different straps. The one downside of a quick release bracelet is sometimes there is play between the end link and the head of the watch, but the connection here is rock solid. Now, the bracelet starts at 20mm and tapers down to 18mm before jumping back up to 20 at the clasp. The 3-link style bracelet is nicely brushed and the links are nicely rounded. Now, the clasp is really nicely finished with Dufrane and the Dufrane logo etched into the brushed clasp. The edges of the clasp have a really nice high polished chamfer. Now, this clasp has a double push to plant release and a fully milled scissor, and then also has a quick adjust that Dufrane refers to as, you probably guessed it, de-adjust. So with the push of a button, you can increase or decrease the bracelet length on the fly, and there's a lot of room here. I think it can adjust almost up to a full centimeter. So if you haven't had a quick adjust bracelet, they make a huge difference on the overall comfort of the bracelet. Like throughout the day, especially in the summer, I will tend to loosen the bracelet a few millimeters just as I get hot throughout the day. Now, this is a feature I would love to see on every bracelet, and this one is very well executed and is easy to use. Finally, the bracelet is sized using screw links and can be quickly and easily sized with a 1mm screwdriver. Now, the watch also comes with a nice strap that starts at 20mm and tapers down to 18mm. The material is soft and pliable, and then the stitching matches the dial of the watch. The hardware is high polish and signed with the Dufrane logo, and there are 2 free floating keepers. This is a nice strap and a great alternative to the bracelet. The screw-in caseback helps provide 200 meters of water resistance and is signed with the Star of Texas. This watch is a limited run and the watches are individually numbered on the caseback. This watch is powered by a Sellita SW200, the Elaboré grade, which is an automatic hacking hand-winding 28,800 vibration per hour movement with a 38-hour power reserve and a stated accuracy of plus or minus 20 seconds per day. However, Dufrane takes the extra step and then regulates this watch to plus or minus 8 seconds a day. Finally, there's no date on this watch, but the date position remains in the movement, which does add that ghost position. Now, it's great to see a Sellita movement used at this price point. I'm not a movement snob, but a regulated Sellita movement runs like a top, and it's really nice to have. And as you can see, this one is indeed running within that regulated plus or minus 8 seconds. First, in the dial-up position, it's running at minus 6 seconds, great amplitude, minimal beat error. And then with the crown up, we are getting minus 4 seconds a day, still good amplitude and almost no beat error. The 6mm screw-down crown is nicely signed with the Dufrane logo. The threading and unthreading action is incredibly smooth, and the watch is easy to wind and operate via this crown. The watch is fitted with a sapphire crystal that uses 5 layers of anti-reflective coating. Now the crystal sits flush to the bezel. I like the choice of a flat crystal here because it helps retain the overall thinness of the watch. Furthermore, I'm always happy to see a sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating. The 120 click unidirectional bezel uses a coin edge. The action is a bit stiff and it's actually kind of hard to turn overall. However, the action itself is nice and the bezel lines up perfectly. The insert is a beautiful turquoise color and is made of sapphire. It has minimal markings. The first 15 minutes has this orange line that matches the orange second hand. Now this bezel does sacrifice some functionality for style since it's a bit harder to use the bezel and quickly ascertain the passage of time without minute markings here. But you can use this bezel as a countdown timer, simply placing the circle at the 12 o'clock at the elapsed time that you are trying to track. The dial on this watch is absolutely beautiful and actually quite difficult to fully capture in pictures or video. Now the dial has 2 layers. The outermost layer has a brushed silver finish with black markings for the hour positions. The 12 o'clock uses a double marker, the 3, 6, and 9 are rectangles, and then the rest of the hours use circles. Now all of these are framed with Lume. Now the next layer of the dial is a step down and has an extremely vibrant and dynamic sunburst effect. The Dufrane logo is applied, and then we have Dufrane written at 12, with Travis automatic and the water resistant posted at 6. Now I think I would prefer it if the outer ring was a touch thicker and then the hour markers were a touch larger, but overall the dial of this watch is just stunning and gorgeous. The arrow hour hand and pencil minute hand are rhodium polished. This is a finishing I have never seen in person before, and these hands gleam in a way that is borderline magical. I don't think it comes across on the video, but they just catch light in this amazing way I haven't really seen before. Now the minute hand is also nice and long, reaching all the way out to the outer ring of the dial. And then the second hand is also long and a beautiful orange color with a lollipop counterbalance. And I think this orange color really complements the turquoise of the watch. I really love the application of Lume. I love how they framed the indices rather than filling them. It's quite different and has a really unique effect, as you can see here. Now the Lume is bright and responsive and lasts a while. Not quite as long as the Seiko on the right here, but it does come close. And here is the watch on my 6 3/4 inch wrist. You can see I think it does wear way more true to 47mm lug to lug. And I think because of that, it's going to look great on a wide variety of wrist sizes. And then because this watch is such a fun color, I had to put it on a, I think somewhat matching and very zany, colorful strap just for fun. So pros and cons, starting with the pros. First, I love the use of the quick release and quick adjust bracelet. This is a pair of features that I would love to see on all watches with bracelets, and it just makes a huge difference on the overall enjoyment of the watch. It makes the bracelet more comfortable and really encourages swapping the bracelet out for other straps because it makes it so much less of a hassle. Second, I love the use of the Salida movement here. This is a fantastic movement. Many other brands at this price point would use an NH35 or Miyota 9000, but not only did Dufrane go with the more expensive option with the Salida, they also regulated it. Finally, I love the use of the rhodium polished handset. I haven't seen this in person before and it's really stunning. As for cons, I think the bezel is a bit hard to turn and to get a grip on. I think if there was a little bit more surface area or perhaps some chunkier knurling, I think this would resolve that issue. Second, with so much attention to detail shown on this watch, I was a bit surprised by the ghost position in the movement. Obviously, this is not a huge deal, but I was just a little surprised to find out there. Now finally, I can't help but feel the hour indices are a bit squished on that outer ring, and I would like to see that ring be a bit thicker to allow them to be a bit bigger. As for comparables, this watch feels a little bit like Notice and Fairer had a baby. Notice for the attention to detail, such as assembly in the US, great specifications, and a regulated movement, and then Fairer for the fun use of colors and design. Now for a bit less, you can grab the Notice Sector, which comes in a few fun colorways. For a bit more, you could grab the Fairer Aquamatic, however, I can't help but feel they used one too many colors on this watch. And then for about the same price, you could go with the NTH Devil Ray, which is another fun and colorful dive watch. So there you have it, the Travis from Dufrane. This is my first exposure to the brand and I love the robust specifications and I especially like seeing that quick release and quick adjust bracelet. So what do you think about this watch? Let me know in the comment section below. As always, if you're enjoying the contents of this channel, I invite you to subscribe, and if you like the contents of this individual video, please give it a thumbs up. That's all for this time. My name is Jason, and you have been watching Just Watches.